Hello again and welcome back to March Payne's Midlife Dolly Crisis, and today I'm going to be dressing this guy here. So if you remember, before Christmas at some point, I bought this doll from AliExpress. So he's kind of meant to be a kind of bootleg Adonis doll. So Adonis dolls are basically limited edition, very expensive, sort of muscly male dolls, which I'm presuming are aimed at the adult doll collector and possibly more male of a certain persuasion perhaps. So this guy here, we think is possibly on a sort of Adonis type body, but obviously the quality that you would get from a genuine doll and the quality you would get from an AliExpress doll are, you know, a bit different. So this guy's body is hollow, pretty much all over, I think. Maybe the legs not so much, or the, you know, the kind of bottom part of the legs anyway, but certainly the thighs, the body, I think the kind of the upper arms are hollow plastic. The head is that kind of rubbery material. This face is kind of, again, a sort of homage to an Integrity doll head, we think. If you have a look at the Integrity dolls, you'll see some of the men have this kind of face. So this body is actually very big. So big, in fact, that I didn't really have any clothes for him to go into. So he was in this, which I'm not really sure who would have been wearing this outfit. It's possibly one of the sort of the modern action men dolls. But yeah, so all the way through winter he's worn this, and obviously, you know, he's been a bit chilly, but some of the other Ken dolls sort of gathered around to help keep him warm. So I thought I should buy him some clothes, and I have bought some clothes from AliExpress. So this is them here. So there are a few different kinds you can buy. There are a more premium kind. So when I say premium, I don't particularly mean, you know, a huge amount, but these ones were kind of less premium. So these are less fancy perhaps, and were actually very cheap. So I bought 4 of them. So we're going to try them on him. I thought also, as we were about it, why not see if any of these clothes will also fit the buff Ken doll here, who doesn't seem to be wearing many clothes. If I put these dolls next to each other, you can kind of see the difference in size. So obviously the Adonis guy is taller than the Ken, but they've both got kind of quite sort of broad bodies and thick thighs. The feet are basically kind of like standard Ken feet, in that they can wear pretty much the standard Ken shoes, so that isn't a problem. Some of these outfits though, I think maybe all of them do come with shoes. So look, let's have a look at these and see what we think of them. So I'm just going to pop these guys to one side, and we're going to have a look at these. So as I say, I've got 4 packs of these. So let's start with this one, because it's glittery and it's catching my eye. Obviously I'm going to try and keep these together just so we know what goes with what. So we have got in this set a pair of glittery black trousers, which I do like. They seem to have been hemmed, which is good, and have no raw edges at the waist either. They have Velcro on the back, so that's pretty nice. The fabric feels a bit odd, but mainly because it's this kind of glittery stuff that's on the top. Actually inside it feels very sort of soft and fabric-like, so you know, that's something at least. So that is the trousers for that. We've got a simple black t-shirt here. Again, everything's been hemmed very nicely. Normally with some of these cheaper clothes you do expect to see a few raw edges, but so far so good. At the back here we've got Velcro all the way down. This material is pretty much sort of cheap t-shirt material, that kind of, you know, jersey, very thin. So that is the t-shirt. And then we have a pair of boots, which I'm going to bring up to the camera so you can hopefully see what they look like. Here we go. So obviously there's no painted on detail, but they do have buckles and stitching and all sorts kind of sculpted into the into the detail of them, which is quite nice. They have slits down the back there, so hopefully they should get on the foot okay. So that is the boots for that. Okay, so next one, let's go with this one because it's a bit more unusual colour wise. The colours for these are all a bit boring, to be honest. They're not expecting Ken to be wearing, you know, anything brightly coloured, which seems a bit of a shame, but never mind. Okay, so at least this we have a bit more colour. So we've got brown, which is not hugely more exciting, although it's a very in colour at the moment, as you might know. So this has got 3 pieces and a pair of shoes. So we've got a sort of a brown jacket which doesn't have any fastenings on the front. Again, everything looks very nicely kind of sewn. We've got hems everywhere, which is good. Obviously the inside of the jacket is not lined, but that's not a problem. We've got a nice collar there as well. Everything looks great there. So that is the jacket, or maybe it's a shirt, I'm not sure. We've then got this, which is a t-shirt with no sleeves. And again, everything is very nicely sewn up. There's no raw edges there at all. We've got Velcro all the way down. It's probably kind of the same design as the black t-shirt that we just saw, just without the sleeves, really. So that is that. And then we've got these, which are a pair of kind of brown distressed trousers. These do look quite thin, actually, because I can kind of see my fingers through them. I'm sure once they're on, they'll be all right. Again, we've got Velcro at the back there. As I say, it is meant to look sort of distressed, so we've got kind of loose threads coming off it. But we have hem at the bottom, we've got hem around the waist. Everything looks all right. These might be quite interesting on him. So yeah, I'm quite interested to see how they look. And then finally, we've got this pair of, I guess, golden boots. So these, if you're not paying attention, are exactly the same as the black pair. They've got the same kind of buckles moulded in, the same stitching moulded in. They are the same boot, but just in this kind of gold colour. So that is those. So we have 2 more to go. Let's do the black one first, which is this one here. Okay, so again, we've got that kind of muscle shirt thing there. So that's pretty much the same. We've got a leather jacket, which I think is the same pattern as the brown one we've just had, but is that kind of pleather material. Again, everything is very nicely kind of sewn and everything. Actually, maybe it is a bit different because this one seems to have kind of the other collar, kind of a lapel going on as well. So maybe it is slightly different. Again, everything's very nicely sewn on this. And then finally, we've got a pair of blue jeans here, which don't have a lot of detail on them, but they're certainly, you know, they're hemmed, they've got stitching around the waist, they've got Velcro on the back. They look pretty good. So that is those. And finally, we have got a pair of very odd boots. They look like pirate boots or something. I'm not really sure about them. They are plastic. There was doubt in my mind. I wasn't really sure what they were going to be made of when I saw them. It looked almost like they were going to be sort of part fabric, but no, they are plastic. They've got lacing details down the front. They've got a kind of a turnover or something at the top there. There's no painted on details, obviously, but they've kind of got this sculpt stuff on it. It'd be interesting to see this on the doll. There's a little bit of a heel there as well. So look, that is the 3rd outfit. Then we have a final outfit here, which we're going to open. Okay, so in this one, we've got basically a brown pair of the boots, which I'm not going to show you up close because they're exactly the same as the last pair. These ones are just brown. We've got a pair of leather shorts, which obviously, you know, no man's wardrobe is without, I'm sure. Again, this is that kind of pleather material. Everything seems to be very kind of nicely stitched together. We have Velcro fastenings on the back there. yeah, that's nice. It'd be nice in the summer, I guess. I'm not sure how soothing or cooling leather is against the skin, but there we go. So that's that. And then we have this t-shirt here. So with this, they've tried to give it a more distressed look by the looks of it. So it doesn't go all the way through. So it's interesting. It's almost like got like a kind of a doubled layer, or they've only kind of gone so far with the distressing, which is quite interesting. Again, this is probably the same pattern as the other kind of tops that we've had in this selection. But it seems very nicely made again. We've got hems everywhere, Velcro all the way down the back. I don't know what colour you'd say that is. I guess kind of like a light grey. Only because kind of the layer beneath this one is black, because you can kind of see that through the distress. So let's get our two gents into these outfits and we'll see what we think of them. Okay, so the first two outfits are here. So I put this brown one onto the Ken doll, and I had to kind of fit the waist quite high on him, but it works. It seems to work okay. I just wasn't sure whether or not the bottom of the trousers would fit into the boots or not, so I've kind of done it both ways just to kind of see what it looks like. But everything fits kind of okay. I mean, the jacket could probably do with a bit of an iron, particularly around the kind of the neck bit with the collar, only to kind of keep that down, because it seems to want to be a bit sort of Dracula style at the top there. Which, you know, I don't think is a look that he particularly wants. Also, it kind of looks better without it, I think. I think it kind of feels a bit more sort of like a normal look without the jacket. Only because the jacket doesn't really have a lot of details on it. It doesn't have buttons or anything like that. So I think this outfit probably looks better without the jacket on. And yeah, I like the trousers on him. I think they look good. Obviously the top is fine. I did worry this was going to be too big, but actually it's fine. It's a bit roomy, but it's not falling off him. The only thing would be is if you were taking a photograph of them from the back, you can kind of see where the Velcro is. But, you know, if he was wearing the jacket, it wouldn't really matter, would it? So that's him in that look. And then in our Bootleg Adonis doll, he is wearing these glittery trousers. These seem to be a bit tough to get on, to be honest. So do persevere, because they are a bit stretchy actually, so they were fine. I didn't think they were going to do up at the back, but they did eventually kind of go on okay. I do really like these on him. I think these look really good. The boots are fine as well. Obviously these are kind of the black colourway of the kind of golden ones that we had here. And then he's wearing this simple t-shirt. I think probably he'd be better off with kind of one of these ones on instead, only because the t-shirt looks a bit kind of bulky. But obviously if he was wearing something over that, it would probably be okay. In fact, let me try this on. I know it doesn't really go with the look, but I just want to see how the jacket would look on him. Only because I haven't put this on him yet. So see, I think because of the sleeves of the t-shirt, it gets a little bit caught up. That's possibly the reason why the ones with the jacket don't come with kind of t-shirt sleeved tops. They come with without the t-shirt, without the sleeves on them, basically. That's probably why, because these kind of fit a bit better, I think, probably if you were wearing a sleeveless top rather than one with sleeves. But actually, you know what? It looks all right. I don't think it looks too bad, actually. It wouldn't do up, I think, even if it had fastenings, you wouldn't be able to do it up on him. But that's kind of all right. I think it looks all right, kind of open. So let's try on the second two outfits on these and see what we think of those. Okay, so here are the last two outfits that we've got on our Bootleg Adonis and our buff Ken doll. Let's start with Ken first, because I'm not sure some of this outfit works that well. Particularly, I'm kind of thinking the boots that he's got on. Maybe the black boots would have been better. It just feels a bit jarring that he's wearing brown boots with kind of black and grey. I feel like the brown boots might have actually looked better with the blue jeans, possibly. They are very odd. They do make me think of, I don't know, Robin Hood or something. I really don't know. Obviously Robin Hood would probably not be wearing either of these outfits, particularly not this one. I do like the black leather shorts. I think it's about time Mattel gave us some actual nice clothes for Ken. They seem obsessed with giving him shorts, but have they ever given him leather shorts? It seems a shame if they haven't. The t-shirt I like, but it's actually a lot bigger on him than it would possibly have been if I'd put it on the Bootleg Adonis doll. That said, I think it works okay. Obviously, the idea of wearing sort of oversized clothes is kind of, I think, still a thing at the moment. So yeah, it's not as successful, I think, as some of the other outfits. That said, now, because of having 4 of them, there's lots of possibilities to mix and match anyway. So I kind of think that's kind of an added bonus. So let's get on to our big guy here. We're going to move the other one out of the way. Here we go. So I do like this outfit. I think it works okay. I think the boots look better with kind of full trousers rather than shorts. They don't look as kind of weird or random, I think. Also, because they're black, they kind of match the jacket. So as you can see, so this jacket was the same as the brown one, only this is in a kind of leather material. And it fits better because underneath this t-shirt has no arms. So this is an armless t-shirt. Again, we have an issue with the collar. I don't actually know how you would get this to sit down, because I wouldn't want to be ironing this, only because obviously heat and pleather I don't think mix very well together. So if anyone has any tips on how to kind of get this to sit flat, let me know. Oh, actually it's sitting all right now. I guess you could always kind of tack it down very kind of lightly, only because obviously this is a double layered kind of lapel bit. So if you were very cautious, and if you didn't mind sort of not being able to put the collar up at any point, you could maybe kind of stitch through, catch one side of the collar and kind of just tack it down. I think we'd literally only need one tack at the back really for the whole thing to kind of stay down. And then we've got these bits here, and again you could probably do kind of the same thing. I'd just be worried about doing it and then the rest of the jacket not fitting as well, only because obviously it will depend on how it's stitched as to, you know, how it kind of sits on the body. But no, I'm quite happy with this. The jeans fit very well. Again, there was a bit of a struggle, but these again are stretchy material, and you can see there is still space there, so it's not so tight. But yeah, so that is him in that. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the clothes that I got, and certainly for the price that I paid. I think I paid like €12, and that was for like 4 outfits. So to have so many different pieces to be able to basically swap out, I know that they are not the most exciting colours, and we've basically got 3 t-shirts which are pretty much the same item. But you know, to have all of these different items and to be able to kind of swap them around and change them out is kind of nice. And obviously the idea of dressing dolls is I think a fun part of having them. I mean, even boy dolls need some fashion choices, I think. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you have any of these Bootleg Adonis dolls. I've only got the one. I don't think I get any of the other ones because basically the other 2 are the same doll, just with a darker skin tone and a lighter skin tone. I also think these clothes are a good option for the buff Ken because, you know, he is broader on the top. So I think it is harder to find kind of outfits that will fit him from Ken's wardrobe. Particularly, I think, with trousers, only because he has very, very thick thighs. Some of the t-shirts and stuff that you get for Ken are oversized anyway, so they'd probably be okay on him. But as I say, these are a good option anyway for him. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And please share the video with anyone else you know who might like this kind of fashion-conscious content. And I will see you in the next one. So until then, take care. Bye.